When I first saw him, it was through the haze of bars and boredom. He was tossed into the cell across from mine, wrists still cuffed, head still defiant, eyes still burning like coals refusing to die. I told myself I hated him instantly, the arrogance in his jawline, the way he didn't flinch when the guard shoved him in. But in a place where time rots like bread left out in the rain, you notice everything and everyone. Before long, I couldn't stop noticing him. We met properly in the yard. He was smoking a hand-rolled cigarette, leaning against the wall, not talking to anyone. People gave him space, the way wolves give space to another wolf they don't quite understand. I was reckless enough to walk over. "You're new," I said. He smirked. "You're observant." The sarcasm should have pushed me away. Instead, it hooked me. We bantered. Sharp words over sharper silences, until one day those silences softened, stretched out into confessions, into laughter. God, I hadn't laughed in so long. And slowly, painfully, something grew. We fought, we resisted, we denied. But prison has a way of stripping away masks until there's nothing but truth. I found myself counting hours until lights out, not because of sleep, but because of him. Because in the darkness, behind thin blankets, we could be what the world forbade us to be. Two men clinging to each other like lifelines. He gave me his trust. I gave him my heart. And when parole came for us both, almost like a miracle, we swore we'd make on the outside. We got out with nothing. No money. No family waiting, no future that anyone believed in. Just two men with scars on their skin and fire in their lungs, determined not to let the world crush us again. We found a cheap one-room shack on the edge of town. The walls were cracked. The roof leaked when it rained. The floor creaked with every step. But it was ours. We painted the walls with second-hand brushes, patched the leaks with our bare hands. And when we laid down on that mattress on the floor, it felt like the first real home either of us had ever known. He got a job at a scrapyard. I washed dishes in a diner. We came home bone-tired, fingers raw. But when we looked at each other, the exhaustion turned into pride. We were surviving. Together, nights were the best. We'd sit on the steps outside, drinking cheap beer, staring at the stars like they were ours alone. He'd rest his head on my shoulder, and I'd think, this is it. This is happiness. This is love. We built everything out of nothing. We made curtains from old bed sheets. We scavenged furniture off the curb. We celebrated birthdays with half a cake from the discount bakery. He once surprised me with a plant in a cracked pot, saying, "If it grows, we grow." We laughed, kissed, and tended it like it was our child. And for a while, it worked. But love doesn't erase the past. It doesn't fix the scars we carried inside. He struggled more than me. The nightmares came back first. I'd wake to him thrashing, mumbling apologies to ghosts only he could see. Then the anger, the frustration, at the world, at himself. Employers saw the record before they saw the man. Every slammed door chipped away at him. I tried to hold him, to remind him we were more than our worst mistakes. Sometimes he listened. Sometimes he shoved me away. But I always came back. Always. Because I loved him, and because I believed love could hold us together. Then came the drinking. One bottle turned into two. Then into nights I'd find him passed out on the floor. I told myself it was temporary, that he just needed time. But time became a wound that wouldn't close. I started taking extra shifts, thinking maybe money would ease a burden. But that meant less time at home, less time with him, less time reminding him he wasn't alone. The distance grew like rot between us. The day it broke was ordinary. That's the cruelty of it. I came home late, grease still on my hands, apron still damp. He was sitting at the table, the cracked pot with our plant in front of him, except the plant was dead, brown, brittle, crumbled at his touch. He looked at me with eyes I didn't recognize. "I can't do this anymore," he whispered. I thought he meant the plant, the day, the exhaustion. I laughed nervously, reaching for him, but he shook his head. "No, I mean this. Us. Me. Everything. I'm just tired. I begged. I pleaded. I told him we'd made it this far. We could make it further. That we were survivors. That love was enough. He smiled. God, it broke me, the softest, saddest smile I'd ever seen. I love you, he said. That's the problem. I love you, but I don't love myself enough to stay. The next morning, he was gone. I searched everywhere. Scrapyards, bars, shelters. Weeks turned into months. Every time the phone rang, my heart leapt and shattered. Every time I saw a figure with his walk, my breath caught and collapsed. The shack became a tomb. The mattress too big. The steps too quiet. The stars too cruel. I still worked. I still lived. But it was survival, not life. I watered the dead plant every day until the soil turned to mud. I whispered to it like it could hear me, like maybe it could hear me too. People told me to move on, that he'd made his choice. But how do you move on from a soul that once fit so perfectly against yours? How do you rebuild when the home you built together turned to ash in your hands? It's been years now. The walls of the shack are crumbling. The roof still leaks. The plant never came back. Neither did he. And still, every night, I sit on the steps with cheap beer, staring at the stars. I whisper his name like a prayer, like a curse, like a vow. Because we got out together. Because we built a home out of nothing. And because no matter how much time passes, I'm still waiting for him to walk back through that door. Even if I know he never will.